The potential for water-powered industry was recognized early in Harper's Ferry's history as illustrated by the establishment of the National Armory in 1798. The armory in Harper's Ferry was destroyed during the Civil War, and the industrial prosperity of the area came to a halt. But in 1884, the armory land was sold to a pulp mill operator. In 1887, on the former site of the Shenandoah Canal's lower locks, Thomas Savery erected this large mill to provide wood pulp for the paper industry on Virginia's island. The mill ground wood to pulp for the production of paper. Flumes channeled water over 10 turbines arranged in pairs in the mill's 5 massive sluiceways, which powered wood grinders, rolling machines, and other pulp-making machinery. By the 1920s, Savery's mill had the capacity to produce 15 tons of ground wood pulp daily. Floods in 1870 severely damaged the buildings that were left along the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers. For almost 20 years after the Civil War, industry in the eastern panhandle languished. A variety of textile and paper mills powered by water sustained much of the local economy as those in other areas continued farming and merchant activities. The population was much lower than it had been before the Civil War. Floods continued to ravage the area and the local economy. Mounting losses forced the pulp mill to close after 45 years of operation in 1935. Most of the structure was swept away in the flood of 1936, leaving only the massive stone piers. The closing of the Shenandoah pulp mill marked the end of the water-powered industry era on Virginia's island. However, the stone foundation remains as an important artifact of hydraulic technology in the development of the Potomac River Valley. George Washington chose Harper's Ferry for a new national armory in 1794 because, he claimed, it possessed an inexhaustible supply of water. Almost a century later, in 1885, the government engineers still described the water power at Harper's Ferry in the highest terms, reporting that there seems to be no reason why a large and fine power could not be utilized here. The site is probably the most favorable one on the river. The natural descent of the Potomac River here, 22 feet in just over a mile, is considerable. Along the Shenandoah River, the waters tumble 14 feet in just under a mile. Sitting at the point where both rivers converge, Harper's Ferry commands access to over 18,000 gross horsepower, enough to attract both millwrights and entrepreneurs for nearly 2 centuries. In 1848, the Harper's Ferry and Shenandoah Manufacturing Company commences production of yard-wide sheetings and shirtings in a new 4-story cotton factory on Virginia's island, quoted as a brick factory building of most permanent character. The building was fitted with gas lights, heated by steam with pipes, and equipped with the latest cotton machinery, including carding engines, drawing frames, spinning frames, and power looms. But in 1852, the Harper's Ferry and Shenandoah Manufacturing Company goes bankrupt, and the cotton factory ceases operation. From 1863 to 1865, the cotton factory sees new life and death as a Union hospital during the Civil War. In 1867, the firm Child and McCreight converts the cotton factory into a flour mill. The establishment contained 10 run of burr stones with a daily production capacity of 500 barrels of flour. 4 new Leffel double turbine water wheels, each rated at about 75 horsepower, were also installed. But the flour mill business did not create as much revenue as the cotton mill. The flood of 1870 destroys much of Virginia's island. Damage to the flour mill is minor, but the mill's head race and head gates are ruined. The mill resumes operation, but the business never recovers. The building was abandoned after the flood of 1889. The site is continually submerged in the Shenandoah River as water levels change. The National Park Service preserves the ruins in part by periodically removing invasive plants that may damage the foundations and by using materials such as hydraulic cement. These weathered ruins are all that remain of St. John's Protestant Episcopal Church, one of Harper's Ferry's 5 earliest churches. Built in 1851 with money provided by church fairs, St. John's served as a hospital and barracks during the Civil War and suffered considerable damage. It was rebuilt afterward, but was abandoned in 1895 when a new Episcopal church was built in the upper town. Today, the National Park Service preserves these ruins by stabilizing the historic fieldstone walls, which were once completely faced with mortar.